All right, guys, I'm AOA. This is AOA The Shed. Today we got Prssr.
What's good with you?
Yes, sir. Thanks for stopping by. Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Soundbar Studios, for giving us the place. Shout out to them. Man, take us back, man, to your childhood. Where were you? Both parents, give us all of that, man.
Well, I started out back and forth a lot of different places, but I mean, really my earliest memories is here in Fort Wayne. So I got roots down south for sure. But growing up on Madison Street, east side of Fort Wayne, both parents, well, mom's around, dad in and out of jail, so, shit could have been different, but it wasn't, so made it best for what we had.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, you said the earliest memories at like 4 or 5?
Yeah, like 4 or 5, really like, around there, actually, yeah, before we stayed in grandma's house.
Hell yeah. So where are you from? Where were you born? How about that?
Well, I was born here, moved around.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's been a lot of moving around and all that.
But yeah, I was getting to school when you're middle school. What kind of character or person were you? Were you funny? Were you?
I mean, I was a problem kid, man. So I was smart enough to get the work done. I struggled doing homework because I feel like I ain't had to do it because I already knew the stuff. So I would get into it with teachers a lot. I would get into it with kids a lot because they always, it's always that one that's trying to tell you what to do and all that. And I had a problem with authority. That was my big thing. So.
You said that because you knew everything. Were you studying a lot at home? Were your parents kind of pushing school to where?
When my dad was out of jail, he's big on education. So he's a math whiz. He's a contractor. So his big thing is if you know how to do math, you never get your money wrong. So that was the big thing he pushed growing up. And my mom is an English teacher. So a lot of stuff like even rapping just come from being around an English teacher your whole life. You're gonna learn some words. So they had pushed me to learn the words early. I was reading early. I think I was reading at like 3 or 4, so my mom said. And I was doing multiplication by the time I got into school.
Hell yeah. Were you big into sports at all?
I played some sports, but when you get in trouble like that, they're not gonna keep you on the team.
So were you just, when you say trouble, were you like getting into fights? I know you said you argumentative with the teacher. They couldn't tell you because you knew you studied. You already knew multiplication.
Yeah, I'm taking the test and I'm passing. So I'm like, what the problem is? But getting into trouble, I was fighting a lot. So I went to some schools that wasn't exactly, black. So I was one of the only ones, and I dealt with some shit that kids were saying. I didn't just let it slide. I was on that. So, yeah.
Moving on, let's go into high school a little bit. Did things change? Were you still kind of a hothead, in your opinion? How would you just say?
I kind of calmed down a little bit after 6th, 7th grade. Because, I've been expelled 3 times already by then. So,
what was the moment? Like the third expulsion that hit you, your mom?
Yeah. She was like, hey, yo, you keep doing that, you going to run out of schools. So, your ass going to be at home. So, I had to work on, trying to calm my temperament down, try to focus on the next step.
What did you do for that?
I was just thinking about the future. It's like, you're going to end up going to jail in and out like some of the people in your family and never amount to nothing, or, you're going to be something. So,
hell yeah.
Keeping that in your head to change you for real.
No, definitely. So in high school, what were you getting into activities to try to fill your time up? What was going on for you?
So I started at Concordia, which is white.
Yeah, no stuff.
Yeah. So, because I went to a private middle school because I got expelled from public school. So ended up at Concordia. She tried to keep me with some friends. Most of them people went to different schools anyway. So it was just starting over again. I dealt with playing football, dealt with some racism on the team, got in a couple fights that kicked me off.
Damn.
Getting into classes, some of the teachers said some stuff that I took as something else, kicked me out. And then I got into it with the principal, they kicked me out of school. Ended up back at Northside, which is where people I grew up with went anyway. So by the time I got there, I was really no more sports. Let's just focus on the future. Let's get to college or something.
Hell yeah. Now, it seems like you've had a lot of run-in issues with people that of opposite race, kind of bringing in race as an issue. Do you think that's a problem in Fort Wayne, or do you think just because everybody's growing up in it? Can you describe that situation, or what's the culture of Fort Wayne in that aspect?
Fort Wayne is 2 cities, really. Once you cross Rudisill, you in a different city. So, beyond that, you gonna run it. We in Indiana, it's 85% white. You gonna run into somebody like that just because it's not enough for you for them to change their mind.
Right.
So running into stuff like that, like all through school, and then even now, I see it here and there. Running into that, it'll change how you look at people and change how you look at yourself sometimes too, if you let it. So,
did it ever change how you viewed yourself? Did you? All right, here's a better question. Did you see race at all growing up until these incidents?
Up until 6th grade, like I knew white folks. There's white folks in my neighborhood, but it wasn't no big deal. It was just, okay, he white, I'm not. That's it. When I got to the 6th grade to this private school, everything changed because they looked at you different. They treated you different. I was trying to play basketball, one of the best on the team. They wouldn't let me on the team. My grades was cool and everything. So everybody look at you differently when you're not part of the majority, so to speak. I think I can go for anybody, but specifically for me, I was in a white school, so.
Hell yeah. Do you feel like you were able to focus more on school in the white schools or in the black schools for you?
Probably in the black schools, because I wasn't thinking about what made me different from these people that's looking at me crazy, you know? So when I got back into public school, I actually did better, which is crazy because, you know, you would think these private schools you're paying all this money for.
Definitely.
That's where you're supposed to do good. I didn't do well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now back on to your story. You said you're trying to go to college. Did you go to college?
I ended up in college. I decided like midway through sophomore year is probably one for me because I wanted to start making music. Because I ain't getting the music till late.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, left it.
For music.
Yep.
Was there a calling? Like, what was your calling? Like, did you have a show? Were you able to get in the studio? What was your moment?
It's actually, so I was dating this girl. Her best friend was my brother Meeks. Shout out to Meeks 260. And he was like, "Yo, I rap." I didn't know we had rappers in Fort Wayne. I had no type of idea about that. And he brought me to the show. He was like, "Yeah, you just kick it. I'm gonna do my thing, you know, get some drinks, whatever." Packed the show out. He had a rockin' in there, and I'm like, "Well, I write poetry here and there. You think I could convert that?" So he got me in the studio, and it was up from there.
Hell yeah. How many shows do you think you've done since then?
Probably close to 200, I want to say.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's one of the most fun things about being an artist, would you say, that led you to this?
I mean, growing up the way I grew up, like you got a big family, and you know how in some black families, you a kid, you don't speak unless spoken to type. Mm-hmm. So being on stage and being able to be heard, you know, like you hear from me, no matter if you came for me, you still hear from me because you ain't left yet. Yeah. You got to hear what I got to say, and you ain't leave yet, so you must be fucking with it. Yeah, so just commanding somebody's attention and feeling like you're important type thing.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it, do you have any kids?
Yeah, one.
Is it more recently, or what time in this time period would you say on this story?
Oh, he's about to be 3, so still young.
Okay, so how has that impacted your life since in the music and like time-wise, work? How has that affected you?
In music, it's changed my outlook because it's like everybody got that legacy they want to leave behind. So some people want to leave by, "Oh, I was a legend. I was the best in the game." Some people want to be like, "I got to leave something back for my son, so he not starting from scratch like I did." You know, it's changed the way I look at business in general. Like, you know, you want to do your friends some favors. Sometimes you can't do a favor. You got to get it too. It's changed that. It's changed my outlook on how my mom had it. So I got one kid. It's rough with just one kid sometimes. She had to deal with 3. So Pops in and out of jail, he can't really help like that. So it's definitely changed how I look at that. I'd apologize to her a few times because I knew I was rough. I'm like, damn, I hope my son ain't like that growing up, for real.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's actually really interesting. What's your proudest moment of being a father?
His first time walking. We just in the crib, he crawling around. He decided to pull himself up on the couch, which I had seen him do it before, but it wasn't like he had just pull himself up and then sit down. This day, I had my camera out. I just happened to have it out. He pulled himself up on the couch and he just started walking around the room. And like he'd take like 3-4 steps and fall, get back up and try it again. It was crazy. Yeah. That was his first time walking. I was like, wow. Like I made that for real. Like, you know, like it's that sense of pride. Like, yo, that I get to mold him into a great human being, or I could fuck up for real, but you know, hopefully I don't. You know, but yeah.
Hell yeah. Speaking of Fort Wayne, do you think it'd be a great place for him to raise? Do you like Fort Wayne still? You've been through a lot in Fort Wayne.
I think So my mom being such a busy person, having so many kids, working a lot, and then at the same time she in school, she didn't have time to pay attention to what we was getting into. So I think the whole biggest dynamic difference between my son and me is I'm an active father. So like I'm around, I'm not going to jail. If I go away somewhere, I make sure we stay in contact, all that. Having two parents is really crazy because it don't matter where you at. If you got two parents there to guide you, so you can't call one, you can call the other one, you still will have somebody to help you along the right way. Yeah. And I don't think Fort Wayne inherently is bad. I just think you got to kind of watch where you get your influences from.
Hell yeah. Now let's think more about the music. Being from Fort Wayne, do you think it's easy or hard to make it and make a living off of music? And then is it opportunities not given to you because of where you're from, as you've done a big tour in 2015?
Yeah. Definitely opportunities not given because you're from Fort Wayne. Because people like, if you are a certain type of artist or a certain type of person, your background is given credibility based on what they've heard from where you're from. It's just kind of like the old times, like, oh, he's from this big city that they do all this great shit in, or they done conquered the whole side of the earth, so you know he like that. Sometimes when you're not from a city that they respect like that, they don't see you the same way until they meet you and they experience you. So a lot of opportunities, you got to get it without meeting these people. So definitely limited there. As far as the scene here, I think it's growing. I think it's doing a lot better than it was. Like from when I started to now, it's changed entirely. Like we got artists here doing hundreds of thousands, millions of streams now.
Definitely.
So like that was not a thing when I was starting, and now it is. So that's beautiful.
Hell yeah. When are you going on a tour anytime soon? And then can you explain what tour life is like for you? Because you know you had the 142 days or 45 days, was it?
I think it was 45 dates.
Dates, okay.
We was gone for 62 days.
Okay.
Yep. Tour life is expensive. I want everybody to know that. Tour life is expensive. You don't even think about the little stuff that you got in your crib that you're gonna have to buy on the road constantly. So like you can't go home and throw something out the fridge and cook it. You on the road, you in a new city. You gotta buy food everywhere you go, breakfast, lunch, dinner. You buying clothes if you ain't bring enough for 2 months, if you're trying to be fresh, you know, you ain't trying to wear your old shit no more. You buying drinks at the bar. Some of these venues, when you get in there, they got some type of buy-in if you're on a tour, or if you're not on the tour, you gotta get paid accordingly, you know. Sometimes you don't get paid enough. Promoters lie, you know. Sometimes shows don't sell the way you thought they would. A lot of things change. So with that, shout out my boy Sumo, you know. Album coming soon, One Iota video too, I'm in there. But a lot of things about tour is you gotta think about the expenses and take twice as much money for it. And beyond that, if you got family back home, people you love and support that you'd like to see, you gotta go without seeing them for a while. You know, you gotta think about if you had a bad show and you ain't going home to get comfort from nobody, you back on the road, do it again. So tour life is rough, but if you know what you came to do and what you came to get out of it, it works.
Do you plan on doing any more tours, or do you?
Oh, for sure, yeah. So I got collab album coming out, I want to say around June, July, with my brother King Vills. And then I got my own album coming out, I want to say early fall. So when I get both of those out, get the proper promotion behind it, I'm going to try to do some dates with that.
Hell yeah. Do you have any message for your fans in Fort Wayne or anything you want to leave for them? And I know you did just drop a tape in December as well, the
3-pack. My overall message is not even just for fans, but like for artists too, that's maybe just starting out, don't know which way to go. You determine where your path goes. It's like people can ask you to be a certain thing. People can say, well, we like when you did that, do more of it. It's really up to you. Like, you're not making this art for the fans. You're making it for yourself, and they might fuck with it, they might not. If you're making it for the fans, you will never be satisfied. So make your music, make your art, whatever you do, make it for you. Because if you don't, you ain't going to be fulfilled.
Hell yeah.
Real talk.
On all platforms?
On all platforms. Prssr, Prssr. 3-pack and Summertime Madness all out. I got a whole boatload of features. I probably got 100 features on platforms right now. Everywhere.
Hell yeah. Thanks for stopping by, man.
For surely, man.